Start your engines. You are now in the inside groove.
Good morning, everybody. What is up, Team Boutique? It is February 19th, 2018. I'm Jay, that is Silent Bubba, and you can find me at Maddy Machine Gun on Twitter. You can find the Fantasy Boutique at DFS Boutique on Twitter as well. We're here to do some Daytona 500 lineup breakdowns. Just a handful. 3, maybe 4. Just kind of my random thoughts of why I put some guys in some places and stuff like that. But before we get into that, I want to tell you a story. I'll give you a little history story. I guess all stories are history, right? Yeah, that makes sense. But anyways, it's Georgie Boy's birthday. Good old George Washington. So, way back in, excuse me, I'm tired, I worked last night. Anyways, right, it's Christmas evening, 1776. You're out chilling by the Delaware, you got a belly full of Trenton tomato pie. Thinking, oh, we're good. Delaware River's frozen. It's Christmas. We could just chill out, take our boots off, maybe. Not be worried about good old revolutionary Costanza coming across the Delaware on Christmas evening with a kill boner stiffer than everybody's upper lip after freaking Ricky Stenhouse was driving super aggressive yesterday. Oh my god. But anyways, so George goes over, takes like 2,400 dudes, and just picks up his gigantic brass clackers and proceeds to just fucking sack punch, the 1,400 Haitians. And so Battle of Trenton. But anyways, thought I'd give you a little random George Washington story history before we broke it down. But cool thing about that, or not really that cool, well, a lot of people don't realize is, only one boat made it across. He lost two ships going across the Delaware, I do believe, if I remember right. Anyways, it's not really that important at this point, but yeah. But good old revolutionary Costanza. But yeah, speaking of presidents, takes a lot of work to run the Fantasy NASCAR program or any DFS program for the people that do this for fun or are attempting to make a living or whatever whatever, or just going with the flow. It takes a lot of time, a lot of your own personal time, especially if you're not getting paid. But what I'm trying to say at is, it being President's Day and all, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the DraftKings OGs of game theory. Steve Young and Mr. Giffen, excuse me. So, if there was a Mount Rushmore of DFS NASCAR OGs, those two would be like locks on the ballot. Be the first two up there. So I just wanted to say thanks to them for doing everything they did initially at the beginning and allowing the rest of us to, you know, do our thing now. But anyways, let's get into some Daytona 500 lineups. Man, that race was, I guess, no different than any Daytona 500. And big one, whatever. But that early up front, I mean, I'm not saying nothing. The 500 is not predictable. Anyone that tells you that it is, other than the wrecks are going to happen, is full of garbage. But yeah, I didn't expect one to happen up, by the top three, around top 3 to top 5 twice. First, half the race. That was crazy. But anyways, let's look at these lineups. All right, up first, this was one of my cash lineups. Super chalky. I saw someone on Twitter posted last night that I think it was DFS Analytics. That's who it was. So go check him out. But anyways, he posted that the ownership percentages for the $5 big GGP double up, or big double up, excuse me. And my lineup was the second chalkiest by like a minute or two. The first one was even chalkier. But I ran this in my few head-to-heads, and this core pretty, super chalk, and some with like a pivot, and like some 50-man cash games and some smaller ones, 10, 12, whatever. But yeah, what are the mathematical odds that? Yeah, I understand that we have 5 of the same 6 drivers, but Jimmy Johnson would score the exact same amount of DK points as Danica. That's kind of funny. But anyways, I went with the chalk here, and it being Benedetto, because I wanted to save, what was his name, David Gillen, to for some GGP action. I figured he might be a little lower on the D Burrito, because D Burrito is more of a series regular, if you get what I'm saying. But anyways, yeah. This next lineup was in the 30K third gear 3 entry max, $33. And I ran Brad K, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, William Byron, and David Gillen in this particular line. This was my hedge line for this GGP. I threw Rowdy in at the last minute, locked in some of the guys in the back. Kind of wish I had the balls to fit more of those guys now, but hey, whatever. Really liked Gillen. Byron was iffy. That's why he was in my hedge line. The local boy, we saw what he did. You get I guess really the only logic I thought. Kyle Busch was about the ownership that I expected him to be. Probably would have been a decent play if, didn't have those issues. But whatever, hedge life. What? I mean, if you need me to break down why I played Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, William Byron, David Gillen at a restrictor plate track, throw me your email in the comments, I guess, or head over to dfsboutique.com and hit the subscribe button and get into the membership area where we break down the plays and go into depth more and all that other stuff. And speaking of that, The Inside Groove is meant as a tool for your daily fantasy NASCAR research. It's not a show for, it's, you know, we don't do it to put out picks. We have another show for that. That's a quick pick show that comes out on Friday, I do believe, after qualifying and final practice usually. Those cover the picks. The Groove is to help you get all the information you need to make solid decisions into your research, consolidated, condensed into one spot on those slides. So you don't have to sit around and Google and do all the crap and average out 5 fucking years of DraftKings points and 3 fucking years of DraftKings points. You know, we do that for you. So, yeah, 50 cents a day, dfsboutique.com. Kill your game like a winner. While you're there, you will also see the link for the quick folds, or excuse me, why do I keep saying great? Man, I'm such a Folds of Honor QuikTrip 500 free preview, track preview, and little mini strategy write-up going into Atlanta. So make sure you check that out. Up next was another GGP line that I had in, I think this was the $3.20 max. Kind of the same logic as the lineup with Kyle. It varied a little bit. You know, I had 4 guys starting 30th or worse, 1 guy starting 20th or back, and a dude up near the top 10. I went mid-pack in this line. I was talking to Ant Sunday morning, and it's just really funny that Austin won and the way he did or whatever that he won. But I was telling him, man, I don't know what to do with it. You know, I kind of like Newman. I think Newman's going to go into look with Kurt, Kyle, and, you know, Suarez, McNuggets. Who else was back there? Bain. And then you got into the 20s. We had McDowell, Busher right in front of him, Dinger right in front of him. So I was like, what's going to happen with the RCR cars? I was like, they're really interesting. And actually, that was like, you know, drivers 12th through 19th, I told them, but like pretty much 12th through 16, I was like 12th through the Menard. I was like really interested in. And just to, I knew there's gonna be so much chalk in the back. So much chalk. Anyways, I mean, you have to. But putting 4 down or 5 down in the back, and then 1-ish, as long as you don't play the top 3, definitely don't play the pole sitter, you are in good luck. I mean, as good a shape as you're gonna get, provided on who you picked, where they started, and avoiding the wrecks. That's the secret to Daytona and Talladega. But in this line here, I had Greg Alding. Expected him to be a lot, or you know, low owned compared to the other people in the back. His car showed up. You know, I guess his car wasn't ready when they got to the track at the beginning of the week. So I saw that going around, and whatever, he's not really a name people gravitate to. I'm glad he didn't start in park because I played him in this line. Had McDowell. McDowell actually has the highest average DraftKings points over the last 5 races at Daytona now. So, and I think he's got like the highest place differential, or highest finishing average. That's what it is. Highest average finishing position, and now the most average DraftKings points at Daytona over the last 5 or 6 races if you count tomorrow, I do believe, or yesterday. Anyways, I had Austin Dillon, who had in so much room to make a clean pass on Almirola if he just waited it out and did the slingshot move. I mean, who hasn't seen Talladega Nights? No, I'm just kidding. But he would have had a shot to do the rope dope, pull out. He was in the best spot. he was in the catbird seat sitting there in second. If he would have let Almirola pull out of a lead a little bit, you know, but it's last lap. What are you going to do? Shit happens, I guess. But yeah, sucks for Eric being the hometown dude. First points pain ride in the 10 car, and you know, it was so cool. I was talking about I talked up the SHR cars, the 3 cars. Not Harvick. I was like, well, Harvick's good, but you know, where he was starting, kind of, you know, you had to be really careful with him. But like, really talked about Clint a lot. I talked about Kurt. And I talked about Eric, but Eric was going to be the chalk. But you know, I really liked Clint to win. Clint was my dark horse to win. But I was telling the Team Boutique members in the NASCAR chat and in my write-up for the 500 that Tony Stewart loves Daytona. It's a big deal to him. He won at Daytona twice before he won at any other track to start when he came into the Cup Series. So it's got meaning to him. You know, Almirola is a great place racer. He is from Tampa. So it was like, yo, Eric's gonna go hard, but Clint's got a chance. Clint's great at avoiding wrecks, so on and so forth. But yeah, and then as I was talking to Ant, he did his quick pick video, and I saw he had, you know, who do you have? You have Joey and Blaney in the video. I know you have Blaney for sure. I don't remember now. No, he had Joey and Blaney in the video, and I was like, yo, dude, you put 2 picks out starting in the top 10, man. I go, might not be a good look for us, and we kind of got into it for a minute, you know, and I was like, had to Google some Daytona 500 trends. Daytona, just Daytona in general, right? And, you know, the odds of Blaney doing that, it's been a long time since someone's done that. It hasn't happened very often, starting where they started, leading over 100 laps. And then he was going to, he almost won. But hey, you know, finished 7th, and Ant was like, yo, Blaney's going to lead at least 100, or 100, I think he said 100. And so I tweeted the screenshot out, so it's on my Twitter. But what did he say? 100 laps, score, I think he said score 58 DraftKings points, so he scored like 62 or 63, so close enough. And then he said Joey was going to score 64 and finish in the top 5. Joey finished 4th, scored 58 or something. So it was all right there. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, dude, game theory, bro. I was like, you gotta play the game theory here. So his call was right. I was wrong in that instance, but yeah, hey, whatever. Good for you, buddy. Good job. No, it was an amazing call. This was the big 600K GGP. I just won a bunch of tickets with our NHL program during the in the NHL satellites. Shout out to Alex. Check out 5 Minute Major if you want to make the most of your hockey games. You get what I mean? In your hockey investments in DFS, you know, you should give that a look, because he is a savant, yo. But anyways, this was like really stinking early in the race. This was pre-Stenhouse trying to win his love back by winning the 500. You know, before he had to he got a rubberneck checking out Aaron Rodgers discount double check, wrecked his car. Yeah, but anyways, so I was sitting in 7th. The only reason why I'm showing you this was because I had 0 overlay in this big ass GGP with this lineup. 0 overlay, and I could smell that 100 grand with the way those cars were running. I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, I doubt the way it played out. I doubt would have made it clean to the end by any means, but my logic was solid as far as what kind of leverage I would have in this lineup. So the only reason why I'm showing this to you because I thought I was stoked. This is how it finished. You know, so I stacked Brad, Kyle Larson, 7-time. So I went 3 back, 1 in the 20s, 1 mid, 1 top 10. And I knew Eric Jones would be, you know, with the exception of maybe Bowman. Actually, I thought maybe he would even be lower owned than Bowman with all the NBA people coming in and, you know, play the poll. Whatever, you don't know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to be in the back. I'm going to play the poll, that bullshit, you know, whatever. And, yeah, so I was like, Jones, 9th. It's got Clint right behind him, Kurt right behind him. Who was in 8th? I don't remember now, but yeah, doesn't matter. But you get the idea. So I knew Jones would be the lower owned deal, and I knew it was a super risky play, not only because of his super high, you know, risky floor, and I was basically saying he needed to finish top 2 by rostering him, if not win by doing that. On top, so I was willing to take the risk for the ownership leverage because Danny's car was hooked up. Suarez, you know, it's a play track. He was right there. I figured he was gonna. Kyle Busch was in 11th or 12th, 13th, something like that. I figured the odds were that they were gonna link up pretty quick and maybe run together. And like my suspicion was, Eric got to the front and was looking really good until he got caught up in that Stenhouse bullshit. Took out Jimmy and Eric right there. Boom. But anyways, he showed a lot of speed, you know, in the 77 car on super speedways last year, you know, the play tracks a lot. And yeah, the rookie bug got him. I don't exactly remember how he wrecked all the 3 or 4 times, but I remember the one time that he didn't wreck, he held his own. And you know, and he did have an average finish at 29th. And he finished outside the top 30 in 3 of the 4 plate races last year. That was what I meant to say. But I knew that would all drive his ownership down. So I was like, yeah, this was one of 2, oh shit, I need a hedge line in there. And actually, no, that wasn't it. This was my dart line. But yeah, and then Paul Menard. Paul Menard is really good at not getting caught up in baloney, mainly because he's always, not only is he a decent plate driver and a decent driver, and I'm really super excited to see what he's going to do in this 21. But I was sitting there thinking, okay, the 3 main Penske cars are really good. Here, the Fords were showing so much muscle, right? I was like, all right, Paul Menard's 16th. He's got Suarez starting in 17th. He's got Bain in 18th, McNuggets in 19th. You know the order, right? So, what Dylan was like 14th. Who was 15th? I don't remember now. But anyways, I knew Menard would have lowish ownership, and I knew, and I had a really good hunch of suspicion. I don't know how he didn't have a little more. I mean, okay, so not only was he driving a Penske Alliance Ford, he was driving a Penske Alliance Ford that had been pimped out by the Wood brothers. Yeah, so that 21 car has been to Victory Atlanta, Daytona numerous times. So that knowledge doesn't go away overnight. So I knew Menard would have a decent run provided that he didn't wreck out. And I figured him being at 16th, I was willing to take the risk with him over Jamie McMurray for the 3 spots of place differential. I was like, whatever, I'm going to do it for the ownership leverage. And this lineup had 0 overlay with McDowell down at the bottom, at 10% owned. And I talked with McDowell with the other lineup. He is now averaging the most DraftKings points at Daytona, on top of the best the highest average finish. But anyways, looking forward to this weekend for the Folds of Honor QuikTrip 500. If you don't know what the Folds of Honor is, it's an organization, a nonprofit that, excuse me, it's a nonprofit organization that helps honor the sacrifice and the legacy of wounded KIA service members and veterans and their families. So they've been doing this since 2007. Its singular purpose is to provide educational scholarships to the spouses and children of those fallen disabled service members. And I'll just touch on it lightly. Being a veteran myself, I can tell you that the traumatic ripples of war does not stop when you get on that airplane and you come home. It has a wake, it ripples, it bleeds into everything. And it's not just the people that serve, it's their family, it's their kids, the kids and the family they deal with the readjustment, or having to learn a new life with and missing a limb, or being burned from a vehicle-borne IED, or I don't need to get into it, but you get what I mean. So check out foldsofhonor.com or foldsofhonor.org, excuse me, and give it a look. It's a pretty big deal. All right, so let's look at this Atlanta race really quick. Excuse me, I need to use the restroom. That Black Rifle Coffee just goes right through you. Good stuff. Check them out. BRCC, that's where it's at. Looking at the Folds of Honor QuikTrip 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway really quick. My full track preview, early, whatever you want to call it, is at dfsboutique.com under the Folds of Honor 500 link. Go check it out. And lightly touch on strategy. I break down the track information whenever you need. I mean, not that stuff's not all over the internet, but at least the strategy isn't. So, freebie this weekend, check it out. I also have the Fast 6 on the website for the last 5 Atlanta races and all the stats that you need to know to accurately research your Fantasy NASCAR lineups and driver targets. But looking at Atlanta, it's a 1.4 mile quad oval race length. It's 325 laps. That's 500 miles. 3 stages. At lap 1, or first stage, lap 85. Second one, 170. The race ends at 320. There's 24 degrees of banking in the turns. 5 degrees in the front and back stretch. 50 to 55 lap fuel window. And pit road speed is about 45 miles per hour. So if you look at track history and driver history for AMS, 7-time leads all active drivers with 5 wins at Atlanta. Casey, Kane, and Kurt are tied for second behind him among active drivers with 3 wins each. Kevin leads all active drivers with 971 laps led, and Kurt is second among active drivers in laps led with 749. So when you're targeting your dominator stuff, you're going to want to know who habitual dominators are here, and it takes a certain type of driver at this track to excel on a regular basis beyond luck or being in the position to be lucky due to circumstances. But your boutique banger for Atlanta is the 5th starting position has produced the most winners in like 110 races in Atlanta. No way, is that right? I forget how many races they've had in Atlanta. No, Daytona. Anyways, 5th has produced 16 winners and is by far just the sweet spot, I guess, at least on the regular. The last person to do this was Brad, the big Keselowski last year. After some stuff happened and he lucked out and he won. But, you know, for you DraftKings Fantasy NASCAR guys, if you come to building your cash lineups this week and your GGP lineups this week, there's some stuff you're going to bear in mind, right? So Atlanta is an older surface track. It hasn't been repaved in over 20 years. Drivers like it, though. It's got character. Tire attrition here is crazy. Tires fall off so fast. I mean, just in a matter of laps, right? And so one thing that kind of happens when your tires fall off is you lose grip and you also lose downforce. And so what that causes is like what the industry, the NASCAR industry, would call a loose driving race car, or loose handling race car. And so when you're researching your guys, you want to start. I would start with drivers that like driving loose handling race cars, that like it on the edge, you know, about to snap loose, but still hooked up. One good way of finding drivers that are like that is you can research drivers that grew up driving on dirt tracks before they made it to the Cup Series or before they switched to asphalt. I can name a few for you. Jimmy Johnson has roots in dirt. Kyle Larson has roots in dirt. Clint Boyer cut his teeth on dirt. Casey King cut his teeth on dirt. Ryan Blaney. Who else? Newman, Stenhouse, Edwards, but he doesn't race anymore. Allgaier, since I'm pretty sure DraftKings is going to offer an Xfinity slate next weekend because of the way that the DK or the big contest for next weekend is labeled. It's labeled Cup. So I don't know why they would label it Cup if there wasn't an Xfinity slate coming. So, you know, Allgaier grew up driving dirt. So, you know, he likes driving that loose race car. You know, those are just some guys you can start to look at. Chase Elliott's really good here also. He's only had 2, maybe 3 races here now. I want to say this is going to be his 3rd. Just a second. This is going to be his 3rd. But in his 2 races here, he's averaged 57.5 DK points. His average place differential of 11. He's started, you know, mid-pack roughly, and he's finished in the top 10. He almost won. He's ran 96% of his laps in the top 15. He hasn't led any yet, but yeah, so I like him too. So when it comes to building your rosters, you're going to want to target two dominators in GGPs. I mean, it is Monday, and we'll see what qualifying gives us, but don't forget to check practice times this week. Don't worry about first practice before qualifying. Just throw that out the window. They're not going to be running in race trim, so don't sweat it. Check final practice and target your guys that are showing quicker speeds than when they're starting. But anyways, GGPs, 2 to 3 dominators. The fastest laps and laps led, or mainly the fastest laps will come from everywhere, or a few places. And there's been on average 2 to 3 leaders here at Atlanta over the last 5 races. The same thing with dominators. So yeah, that is your guys' quick little look into the Folds of Honor QuikTrip 500. Hit like, hit subscribe, tweet at us. Who was your dark horse to win yesterday? Did you pick Dylan? I didn't pick Dylan. It was really funny though, because I was joking around on the last podcast and I cracked a joke. I was like, "Oh, he's not Dylan, right?" And he goes, 500, which he's still not Dylan, but at least did it in 3, I guess. All right, guys. I will see you either Wednesday or Thursday for the groove.